This is the final lecture in the series Principles of Ethics created for philosophy classes at Shenandoah University. I'm Professor Penn-Hollar, and this lecture considers our fifth principle, the principle of fidelity. The principle of fidelity says that we should be faithful to our commitments and role responsibilities. The basic idea is this: we have a moral obligation to meet the legitimate expectations that people have of us based on specific commitments we have made, and as well the various roles we play or assume in society and in relation to others. Paradigm examples of obligations of fidelity we might have are those related to keeping promises. If we make a promise to another person, assuming the promise is to do something that is itself moral, then we have an obligation to keep that promise. Faithfulness in our marriages may be another classic or paradigm example of what fidelity requires of us. But also fulfilling our professional responsibilities. People have legitimate expectations of us based upon the professional roles we play. Keeping those professional responsibilities is a matter of fidelity. Understanding the principle of fidelity requires that we understand a distinction between what have been called general and special obligations. General obligations refer to the moral responsibilities that all persons are thought to have toward all others. They are sometimes called impersonal because our personal relationship to a particular person is irrelevant with respect to these obligations. They're called impartial because we are not allowed any partiality or any preference for one person over another in fulfilling our obligations related to the principles we talked about: non-maleficence, beneficence, autonomy, and justice. We have said these principles apply to all people and to all people equally. Special obligations are moral responsibilities that some particular persons have toward others with whom they have some particular relationship. So particular people have these obligations to particular others, not all people to all others. These are sometimes called role responsibilities or role-specific obligations. Now, the principle of fidelity is a general obligation in the sense that we should be prepared to meet all people's legitimate expectations of us based on whatever commitments we might have made to them or whatever roles we play in relation to them. However, our specific commitments and roles create obligations to certain people we don't have to others. So in that sense, fidelity points us towards special obligations rather than general ones. So think of this example. One should be willing to keep his or her promises to whomever they are made. One would be wrong to say, well, I'm not obligated to keep my promises to such and such a person because something excludes them from my moral responsibility. However, having made a promise to Guillermo, for example, that I didn't make to Joaquin, I now have obligations to Guillermo that I don't have to Joaquin. In that sense, fidelity points us towards special obligations. Or consider this: I should be willing to be a good professor to any and every person who might become my student. In that sense, my role responsibilities related to the principle of fidelity are general. They apply to everyone. However, having become your professor, I now have obligations to you that I don't have to other persons, to other students who are not in my class, to people who are not students at Shenandoah University. In that sense, my role responsibilities are specific or special. This concludes the introduction to this lecture, introducing the principle of fidelity. The next presentation will consider two models for thinking about or understanding how role-specific obligations of fidelity are generated.